So the Georgia Bulldogs are having a great year, and yesterday their year got better because they got a big win in their 2023 recruiting class. A win that not only nets them a 5-star defensive back, AJ Harris, out the state of Alabama, but they also keep him away from a team in their division that many thought he was bound to go to, the Florida Gators. Today, we need to break down what this means for Georgia, what this means for Florida, and everything in between. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down in the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that AJ Harris is joining the Georgia Bulldogs? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below, as those interactions, though seemingly small, are incredibly impactful to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this, because it's not every day that you get to add in a 5-star prospect of the caliber of AJ Harris, coming in as the number 25 overall player in the nation, a top 5 cornerback, and a top 5 player in the state of Alabama, a state that is absolutely loaded in the class of 2023. So going in and getting a player out of the state of Alabama is a huge, sweet victory for the Georgia Bulldogs. What makes this sweeter, though, is keeping him away from the team many presumed looked to be the favorite down the stretch, and that's the Florida Gators. Because as great as it is going in and getting a player that plays his high school football in the state of Alabama, it's even sweeter when you can keep him away from a team that inevitably you will see year in and year out, someone that's in your division, and a team that's really trying to build something right now in the Florida Gators. Florida, under Billy Napier, are looking to turn around their fates, and they've hired a really solid staff. They have a lot of hype going on the trail right now, and we're going to talk about that a bit later. But first, let's talk about what AJ Harris brings to the Georgia Bulldogs. And first and foremost, this is a huge win for Fran Brown. The Georgia Bulldogs are coming off of a year where not only did they win the national championship, but they lost some key pieces on this coaching staff. Fran Brown comes in, and he was already someone that the Dawg faithful were very excited about, and instantly we see the fruits of his labor in a 5-star defensive back that I know the Georgia faithful are going to be incredibly excited to see come in and make his transition to the collegiate level. So this is already the first thing we need to talk about, is Fran Brown being a year 1 cornerback coach with the Georgia Bulldogs already getting a great win such as this against Raymond, no less. Anybody that's a fan of college football, and especially college football recruiting, I don't care who you're a fan of, real recognizes real. Raymond is a premier defensive backs coach in the game of college football, and really in football in general. And so it really highlights what a big win this is for your cornerback coach to go and get a player that many felt was a favorite to go to Raymond and the Gators and get him to go to the Georgia Bulldogs. That is a huge win, and it really highlights what a big win it is for Fran Brown going up against such an established name in the industry such as a Raymond. I think that part really needs to be understood and really needs to be talked about, because it really paints the picture of what a great addition this is for the Dogs on multiple levels, because we haven't even started talking about the athletic ability AJ Harris brings to the table. And if we want to do that briefly before we break down what this means for the Florida Gators, I think we should. AJ Harris is a physical cornerback, standing 6'1", 180 pounds plus, going into his senior year of high school, so he's still going to continue growing and developing. He brings immense physicality to the table and an understanding of how to play the position at a very high level. This is someone who could play defensive back at the next level at the cornerback position, or he could play a safety or nickel position, and that's the type of versatility and flexibility all of these top-tier defensive minds are looking for, and I know that's a big reason Fran Brown and Kirby are incredibly excited to get this kid in, because there's multiple different things that you can do with him. And whenever you have these 5-star athletes who can play multiple positions in your secondary, it gives you more freedom to kind of mix and match and put the best players on the field. And because of that, that's a great thing to have, is that versatility. But now, let's talk about what this means for Florida, because Florida seemed to be in a great position to land AJ Harris. Florida's a team right now that has a ton of hype on the trail, and one thing I talk about consistently is never underestimate how powerful hype can be. We've seen a lot of teams before completely build a class off of hype, but hype has only one enemy, and that's proven results. Because the Florida Gators are a team that can recruit off of a lot of hype, but inevitably we don't know what this team is going to look like with Billy Napier and the current staff. Do I believe they're going to be able to get it right? Yes, I actually do, and I've talked about this before. But we don't know for certain right now. There's this constant question asked in pretty much, well, every facet of life. You have the constant battle of the known versus the unknown. And right now, there's a ton of positives that could come along with the Florida Gators, but they're shrouded in what we don't know. What we know about the Georgia Bulldogs is that they're coming off of a national championship. They just sent troves of guys to the NFL. They continuously recruit at a high level, so you're going to be surrounded by talent in order to try and compete for another national championship. And this is a team that consistently, year in and year out, fields top-tier defenses. So that's what we know about the Georgia Bulldogs. They, too, have a lot of hype in this recruiting class. And so Florida comes to this situation with a supreme amount of hype, with a lot to be excited about, deservedly so, but they met their match in a team that also has hype, but has proven results to go with it. And that's why it's going to be so important for Billy Napier and company to have a good first year. I'm not saying you have to win your division. I'm not saying you have to get to the college football playoffs. I'm saying you have to play good football year in and year out. And then you'll catch the attention of a lot of recruits. But it is going to be incredibly difficult to try and pitch against the Georgia Bulldogs, a team that also offers all the hype on the trail that Florida does, but is coming off of a national championship, is coming off of a year where so many of their guys are going highly to the NFL draft. That's a lot of proven, tangible results that you're trying to recruit against for a staff that's really trying to make their impression into the SEC. So, this is an interesting situation. Do I believe Florida will be able to continue recruiting at an incredibly high level? I do believe so, because they have Raymond, they have Billy Napier. That's a staff with a lot of recruiters, and there is a lot of intrigue around their class. But at the end of the day, we need to realize hype can be an incredibly powerful tool. But if you're going up against another team that also has hype, but has tangible results as well now that pitch just got a lot harder to try and ignore. So, very interested in hearing from all of you. Hop down in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.